Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good evening, grade 9. So please open your book page 374, chapter 6, lesson 3, binomial radical expressions. So in problem number 2, in the stained glass window design, the side of each small square is 5 inches. So we have 5, 5, 5. Find the perimeter of the window to the nearest tenth of an inch. So first of all, it said the side equals 5 inch. We have here 5, 5, and 5. Inside the square or the small square, here we have square, but here we have a triangle. Once we have a triangle, so the internal angle is right. Now we have right angled triangle. Here we have 5, 5, so the triangle is isosceles. Once it's isosceles using Pythagoras theorem, so it will be 5 the square root of 2. And the same, 5 the square root of 2. Here it's width according to length, so it will be 5 the square root of 2, 5 the square root of 2, 5 the square root of 2. The whole window here is rectangle, so you must find the perimeter of rectangle. So perimeter of rectangle is equal to 2 multiplied by length plus width is equal to, here we have 2, length, here the whole, so it will be 5 the square root of 2 plus 5 the square root of 2 plus 5 the square root of 2. Can we add all of them? Yeah, we can. Why, Mr.? As it's the same radicand and the same index. 5 plus 5 plus 5 is equal to 15 the square root of 2. Here plus. We have width, so 5 the square root of 2 plus 5 the square root of 2, it will be 10 the square root of 2. And then 2 multiplied by, we have 15 the square root of 2 plus 10 the square root of 2, it will be 25 the square root of 2. When we multiply, here we multiply a constant 2. So we can multiply it by radical. 2 multiplied by 25 equals 50 the square root of 2. And that's it. Here is the first point, which is perimeter. Let's go to got it number 2. And got it number 2 is the same idea, but here we have the length or the side is 6 inch. It's 6 inch. Don't forget that it's inch. But he asked me to the nearest, so it will be 70.7 using your calculator. So, and got it number 2. And got it number 2, we have 6, 6, 6, and the internal angle is right. Using Pythagoras the same way, so it will be 6 the square root of 2, 6 the square root of 2, and there 6 the square root of 2, 6 the square root of 2, 6 the square root of 2. I need to find the perimeter, so perimeter is equal to 2L plus 2W, the same way, the same formula. Just distribute 2, they are the same. Equals 2L, here L equals 6 plus 6 plus 6 equals 18, the square root of 2. 18 multiplied by 2, it will be 36, the square root of 2, plus, here we have W, which is width. 6 the square root of 2 plus 6 the square root of 2, it will be 12 the square root of 2 multiplied by 2, it will be 24 the square root of 2. Add them together. Once we have 36 the square root of 2 plus 24 the square root of 2, so it will be 60 the square root of 2. Using the calculator, you will find it. So you will find it 84 using the calculator, 84.9 inch. That's it. So here problem number 2, got it number 2. Okay, let's complete. So problem number 3, simplify. We have the square root of 12 plus the square root of 75 minus the square root of 3. So what should I do? Here we have the square root. I need to factorize 12 into two numbers. One of them has a square root, so it will be 4 multiplied by 3. Why I miss 4 multiplied by 3? Why it's not 6 multiplied by 2? As the square root of 4 equals 2. But I don't know the square root of 6 or the square root of 2. Okay, the square root of 75, so it will be 25 multiplied by 3. The square root of 3, it's in the simplest form. That's it. So the square root of 12 equals, here, the square root of 4 multiplied by 3 plus 25 multiplied by 3 minus the square root of 3. Take the square root of 4 outside the root, so it will be 2, the square root of 3, plus 25 outside, it will be 5, the square root of 3 minus the square root of 3. Now it's easy for me to add or subtract as they are from the same family. The square root of 3 is the same radicand and the same index. 2 plus 5 is equal to 7. 7 the square root of 3 minus the square root of 3, it will be 6 the square root of 3. And that's it. Let's move to go to number 3. Here the same idea but different in index. We have the square or the cube root, so the cube root of 250 plus the cube root of 54 minus the cube root of 16. So don't forget that we have 2 power 3 equals 8. 3 power 3 equals 27. 4 power 3 equals 64. 5 power 3 equals 125. That's it? Yeah, that's it. Okay, so the cube root of 250, I need to factorize it into 2 factors. One of them has the cube root, so it will be 125 multiplied by 2. The cube root of 54, it will be 27 multiplied by 2. 16, it will be 8 multiplied by 2. Now it's amazing. So the cube root of 125. So we take the cube root 125 multiplied by 2 minus plus the cube root of 27 multiplied by 2 here minus the cube root of 8 multiplied by 2. Take 125 outside the root, so it will be 5 the cube root of 2 plus 27, it will be 3, so 3 plus the cube root of 2 here minus 8, the cube root of 8, it will be 2, the cube root of 2. Can we add or subtract? Yeah, we can. The same index, the same radicand. خلاص. 5 plus 3 minus 2. 5 plus 3 equals 8 minus 2, it will be 6, the cube root of 2. That's it. Yeah, let's complete problem number 4a. Here we have 4 plus 2 the square root of 2 multiplied by 5 plus 4 the square root of 2. First of all, we have 2 brackets, so you must use distributive property. So we have 4 distributive property or FOIL. So first, outer, inner, last. Multiply 4 multiplied by 5 equals 20. Here plus 4 multiplied by 4 equals 16, the square root of 2. 2 the square root of 2 multiplied by 5, it will be 10, also the square root of 2. Here we have 2 multiplied by 4 equals 8, the square root of 2 multiplied by the square root of 2, so we have the same index, the same radicand, and the multiplication. By the way, if we have different radicand, we can multiply, but we can't add or subtract. So the square root of 2 multiplied by the square root of 2 equals 2. So 8 multiplied by 2. Here we have 20 plus combine like terms. We have 16 the square root of 2 and 10 the square root of 2. 16 plus 10, it will be 26. So it will be 26 the square root of 2 plus 8 multiplied by 2 equals 16. Now complete combining the like terms. 16 plus 20, it will be 36 plus 26 the square root of 2, and that's it. Let's move to problem number 4b the same way, using FOIL or using distributive property. So 3 multiplied by 5 equals 15. 3 multiplied by the square root of 7, so it will be 3 the square root of 7 minus 7 minus the square root of 7 multiplied by 5, so it will be minus 5 the square root of 7. Negative multiplied by positive, it will be negative the square root of 7 multiplied by the square root of 7, the same square root, the same radicand, and the same index. خلاص, okay, so it will be 7. Can we add or subtract like terms? Yeah, we can. The square root of 7, the square root of 7. 3, the square root of 7 minus 5, the square root of 7, it will be negative 2, the square root of 7. 15 minus 7, it will be 8. So the answer is 8 minus 2, the square root of, of 7, not 2. That's it, problem number 4A and B. Okay, so in go to number 4. We have two brackets also, 3 plus 2 the square root of 5 multiplied by 2 plus 4 the square root of 5. So what should I do here? The same idea. Distributive property or using FOIL. It's up to you. The easiest way for you, you can follow it. So we have 3 multiplied by 2 equals 6. Here 3 multiplied by 4 equals 12, the square root of 5. Plus 2 multiplied by 2 equals 4, the square root of 5. 2 multiplied by 4 equals 8, and the square root of 5 multiplied by the square root of 5 equals only 5. Here equals 6. 12 is the square root of 5 plus 4, the square root of 5. 12 plus 4 equals 16, the square root of 5 plus 8 multiplied by 5 equals 40. Now we add or combine like terms. 6 plus 40 is equal to 46 plus 16 the square root of 5, and that's it. Problem number 5, multiplying conjugates. What is the meaning of conjugates, Mr.? We had studied before in grade 9. Conjugate, just change the sign of the middle term, so or the second term. If we have 5 or not 5, I need it in general. So if we have A plus the square root of B, so its conjugate is A minus the square root of B. Here conjugate number, just change the sign in the middle. So here we have the conjugate 5 minus the square root of 7 multiplied by 5 minus the square root of 7. One of them minus and the second is add or negative or positive. You remember difference between two squares. If we have A minus B multiplied by A plus B is equal to first squared minus second squared. It's a difference between two squares. So the same idea here. We have 5, negative, positive. Second, or the square root of 7, the square root of 7. So first squared minus second squared. First, 5 squared, 25, minus second squared, it will be 7. Why, Mr. It's 7? As we multiply the square root of 7 multiplied by the square root of 7 equals 7. Or the square root of 7 power 2 cancels the square root. 25 minus 7 equals 18. Here is number 5, problem 5. Let's go to number 5. Here 6 minus the square root of 12 multiplied by 6 plus the square root of 12. The same idea. So it will be first squared minus second squared. First squared 6 power 2, it will be 36, minus 12 squared, it will be 12. Once we subtract, so the answer will be 24. Good. Got it? 5. First squared, so it will be 3 power 2, which is 9. Here minus the square root of 8 multiplied by the square root of 8, which is 8. 9 minus 8 equals 1. Let's move to problem 6. Okay, in problem 6, just he asked me to rationalizing the denominator. How can you write the expression with a rationalized denominator? So he asked me about the rationalized expression, or means the simplest form, or I needed a rational. So what should I do? Rational means I don't need the square root down. So I need to get rid of the square root of 5 and the square root of 2. What should I do? The first step, you must multiply up and down by the square root or the conjugate number of the denominator. So we multiply. Here I write multiply by conjugate